ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं स्वस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. Dear devotees, we were discussing the Omkara and its importance by how the Omkara is the first manifestation in the creation, and by using the Omkara as alambana, as a support, how one can reach the self, one can reach the Atman, one can experience the Atman, we discussed. Now, second chapter, second subsection we are discussing, if you remember. Till now, what all things we discussed, if anyone asks, how many of us will be able to give a right answer, we have to check with ourselves. Why I am putting this particular question is because when we are hearing that particular class, we may understand, no doubt, but if you don't get the thread of the argument or the progression, the idea progression, whatever is happening in the Upanishads, when you don't remember, if you cannot hold the thread, then you will not be able to enjoy the Upanishads. And overall summary also sometimes you may not get. So you have to be clear what all things we are discussing and why these points or these ideas are being narrated or explained by the Rishi, etc. If you remember in the first chapter, in the two sections, more or less, Brahman or the consciousness is the source of the creation we try to understand. And at the same time, because the whole world has been derived, so-called, or created by Brahman, and the dependency of the world on Brahman is there, from that point also, it is also called Mithya. Now, in the second chapter, first and second subsection, we are trying to understand Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. What is the nature of the individual self? What is the nature of the Supreme Self? And essentially, there is no difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. So this is what the underlying argument in the second chapter, first and second subsection. So this we should keep it in a mind. So last 2-3 slokas, we, from sadhana point of view, from spiritual practice point of view, so the Rishi told that by using the Omkara, by doing the Omkara japa, one can attain the God realization or self-realization. So that is one of the sadhana paddhati, meditation technique. There are many meditation techniques which are discussed in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Upanishads, and we also, most of us, we have got mantra diksha, spiritual initiation. So there we get our own upasana paddhati. If we follow, that is enough. Now, seventh sloka is a very wonderful and one of the important sloka. Now, what is Brahman or what is Atman? We have understood. It is neither the body nor the mind nor the object. It is the subject. It is the pure awareness. It is the knower, never the known. It is the experiencer. It is never the experienced. And it is eternal, Nitya. All these things we know. Now, where this Brahman exists, how to understand? What is the locus, or where does he reside, or where does it reside? How to understand this? The address of the Brahman, is there any address for the Brahman or of the Brahman? This question may come. For that, in the seventh verse or seventh sloka, answer has been given. Now, there are actually 4 lines actually. In some books, these are taken independent slokas. In some books, the 4 lines also has been categorized or categorized or considered as only one shloka. Since I am following Swami Gambhiranji Maharaj's book translation, so there all the 4 lines are classified under one shloka, so I'll be following as one shloka. Yaha sarvagnaha sarvaviddai saisha mayama bhuvi divye brahmapure hesha vyomyatma pratishtitaha manomaya prana sharira neta प्रतितिष्ठतोन्ने हृदयं सन्निधाय तद्विज्ञानेन परिपश्यन्ति धीराः आनन्दरूपम् अमृतं यद्विभाति. The overall meaning goes like this: that self, which is omniscient in general and all-knowing in detail, and which has such glory in this world, that self, which is of this kind, is seated in the space within the luminosity of the Brahman. And it is conditioned by the mind. It is the carrier of the vital forces on the body. It is seated in food by placing the intellect. Through their knowledge, the discriminating people realize that self as existing in its fullness everywhere. The self that shines surpassingly as blissfulness and immortality. Now let us try to understand in detail. Now if you see, the glory of Ishvara, the glory of Brahman is beautifully explained in the first line. And one more very interesting point or interesting philosophy or even attitude one can develop towards one's own body, one's own heart and the self and etc. can be beautifully, we can read here or understand here. Whoever has read the Vachanas of Basavanna in Karnataka, Ullavaru Shivalaya Maduvaraya, Nanina Madali Badavanaya. Yenna Kale Kambavu, Shirave Degula, in a Kale Kambavu, Dehave Degula, Shirave Panna Kalashavaya. I'm a poor person, I don't have a money, so I can't build houses, temples, like any rich man does. But my legs, my own legs, are the pillars of the temple, and this body is the main part of the temple, and my head itself is the kalasa of the temple. Beautifully he tells. So the same idea we can see here: body as a temple, heart as a sanctum, and the self, the consciousness, the Chaitanya is what the Ishvara or the Lord of the temple has been given in this sloka. Now, how to get detached from the body is one of the major questions a spiritual aspirant can have. Somehow we feel, I am not the house. I am different from house. I am not a pen. I am not a mobile, though we are all obsessed with mobile nowadays. But though we are all obsessed, without it we can't live sometimes, but we all know that I am not the mobile. I like car, but I am not the car. We all know that. And when you study Vedanta, when you study philosophy, and when you start hearing lectures or reading lessons of Vedanta, slowly you will try to understand that you are not the body and mind. However, we hear, but the attachment to the body and mind and the notion of I am not the body, to understand, to appreciate, and to put into practice, it is quite challenging. So the scriptures gives 2 or 3 approaches by which how one can get detached himself, not physical detachment, mental detachment, I'm saying, or intellectual detachment from the body. One is a very general way. Body is filled with completely bone marrow, flesh, all type of filth, blood, and all these things. Then why to attach to this body? So try to get detached from this body, because body is made up of a clump of flesh and blood and bone or filth and whatever. And the second thing is, this body, the body and mind complex is made up of Prakriti. From the Sankhya Yoga point of view, if you see, this whole body is made up of body and mind is Prakriti, and I am the Purusha, I am the Atman, I am the consciousness. So the Purusha can never become Prakriti, and Prakriti can never become Purusha. So I am the self, not the body and mind. Body and mind belongs to this Prakriti. This is one more approach. The one more approach, beautiful approach, is being given is body as a temple. So I am the same idea. Even if we see divinizing all our acts, we can see the mantra we chant before food. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmana Utam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So the plate, the cups and saucer, spoon, fork, that is also Brahman. Then the act of offering, that is, we mix the food and we are consuming, that act of eating is also Brahmarpanam. That is also Brahman. And we are offering the food into our body, where the Vaishvanara is there, Agnideva is there, Lord is there. So that act of offering is also Brahman. Brahmarpanam, Brahmavi. The food is also Brahman. Brahmagno. Inside we have got Agni, which is known by Vaishvanara. That is also Agni. Brahmanavutam. That is the offering, the act of offering is also Brahman. So while eating, we can eat for taste. We can eat from the health consciousness, and the same simple day-to-day, everyday act, that eating can be considered or can be converted into spiritual practice, saying that whatever I'm eating food, consuming the food, I'm offering the oblation to the God who is inside my body. Inside the body is called Vaishvanara, or by any other name. So similarly, this whole body, I am taking care of this body. Why? Because the body is a temple where the Lord is residing. So where is he residing? He is residing in the spiritual heart, or in the lotus heart. We have got a physical heart which is a bit left side. So generally it is called Anahata. Anahata chakra, we say in the Kundalini and all. Anahata, that is a spiritual heart center. There God resides. So this whole body is a beautiful temple, given by nature or given by God, and God is residing. Let me take care of this. Let me clean by taking bathing. It is an act of spiritual practice. I shall take care of this body by doing exercise, by giving a medicine, fresh air, any deficiency, if it is a vitamins and all, etc. Why? Because it's a temple where God is residing. So by this act, by this type of attitude when we develop and when we get strengthened, then we get detached mentally or intellectually from this body, and this so-called the worldly action or the physical action can be converted into spiritual practice. The same idea has been told now. Yaha sarvagnaha sarvavit yasya yesha mahima bhuvi. Who is Ishvara? Yaha, who sarvagnaha, is omniscient, is all knower. There is nothing where he doesn't know anything. Now, I may be Nobel Prize winner in the science, in the physics, doesn't mean that I know anything and everything in physics. Even if so-called, if I know everything in physics, but I am not sure and I cannot know that everything in chemistry, or maybe even little in chemistry, I may know or may not know. Then what about biology? Then what about arts? Then what about philosophy? Oh my goodness, I don't know. So many years I may do. There are few people we hear now and then. They have done 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 50 degrees, 10 PhDs and all. So there are quite knowledgeable people, no doubt. But do they know every subject? No. So our knowledge is limited. But whereas God is sarvagnaha, is omniscient. When you say omniscient, is the all-knower, fine. He knows everything, fine. That is also, it's a figurative usage actually. Means is omniscient sarvagna from what point we have to think very clear. He is the substratum of all the knower. Without him, nothing can be known. When he's omniscient, when he's all-knower, because everything has come out from him, so he knows every subject, he has got every knowledge. That's the one understanding. When you go deep, by this time, this much outlook and understanding one should develop, I think you have developed, I believe, all of you. So here omniscience means because of the consciousness alone we can know things. So he is the knower. Without him, nothing can be known. From that angle, he is omniscient. And Sarvavit is also, Sarvagna is from general part, and Sarva with in the particular, from the particular angle actually. Yasaisha Mahima Bhuvi. He who has this well-known splendor in this world. What is that splendor? Means his glory alone we are experiencing all over actually. Now in the nature, if you see, what a beautiful sunrise, what a beautiful sunset, lightning, though it is fearful, sometimes we feel fearful, but such a beautiful natural phenomena it is. And when you go to, recently I had been to Atlantic Ocean. So when we were standing on the bank of the Atlantic Ocean, seeing the different waves on the Atlantic Ocean, Atlantic Bay, so beautiful, with the terrains, with the rocks, and with the waves, and the white foam, all these things we are enjoying, no doubt. We are taking selfies, we are taking photos, and updating in social media. But so beautiful, isn't it? That splendid glory, Mahima. It is from whom? Whatever we see in this, in the earth planet, or in the above worlds, or in the below worlds, all these things belongs to for him only. That's where you see in Sri Ramakrishna's life, if he sees any beautiful thing, immediately he used to go to Samadhi. Why? Because that used to make that used to make remind God. I say beautiful sunlight or sunrise, we all feel happy. If a poet sees, he may get inspired to write a good poem. When Sri Ramakrishna sees, he sees so beautiful and he used to go to Samadhi. Because the sunrise, that one small phenomena, an incident was enough for him to trigger the remembrance of the God. Similarly, a beautiful flower. We see so beautiful flower, we think we may bring and keep in a vase, or we may offer at the feet of the Lord. But by seeing a good flower, is to go to Samadhi. So such a beautiful creation is there. I mean, how beautiful the Creator is. That's how Sri Ramakrishna's every natural phenomena is to link to the God, to the Supreme Lord. That's how he used to go to Samadhi. You can say oceans, moon, moonlight, vegetations, our human brain, in our body, 5 fingers we have got. If the 5 fingers would have been all equal, then probably the way now our hand is able to catch and do so many things, it was not able to. And even hunger, because we have got hunger, we are working. If we no hunger, probably would not have worked and would have become much lazier, isn't it? And even you take one simple cell, how much people are studying, scientists are making studies for years together, and still much is there to explore itself. Just you take one cell, which is so microscopic, there they are able to understand many things. And this one cell, nuclear energy, nuclear fusion, all this, so much energy we are able to develop from that. How beautiful, isn't it? So, Yaseisha Mahima Bhuvi, whatever the glory, whatever the splendor you see in this world, in the manifested world, everything belongs to him. That means what? The whole world has been created by him. So in the background, the Lord alone else is there. It is a Lord's creation. So we are all here in the Lord's creation. Okay. What is the nature? Is a omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, we understood, and the whole world has been created by him. It is so beautiful. It is so splendor. It is splendid. We understood. Okay. Then where does he stay? So here we say he is omniscient. He stays everywhere. He is omniscient and is omnipresent. There is no place where God doesn't stay. There is no place where there is no God. Means God is there everywhere. He is not bound by time and space. Like Shantivratananda is there in Dublin. He cannot be in England. He cannot be in America. He cannot be in Canada. Why? Because Shantivratananda has this body, he has been confined with a particular place, with the time and space. Now God is not confined by the time and space, because why? He is omnipresent. He is there everywhere. Why? Because he is that consciousness. That is the one understanding. The other understanding is there because the consciousness is all pervasive. There is no place where consciousness is not there. That's why it's omnipresent also from the point of consciousness. Okay. So omnipresent is from the cosmic level. From the cosmos level is there everywhere. What about the individual level? From the macrocosm level, it's everywhere. And what about from the microcosmic level, individual level? If you ask, the second line gives the answer for that. Divye Brahmapure hi Yesha Vyomnyatma Pratishtitaha. Divya hi Yesha Brahmapure. He resides in the Brahmapuram itself. Oh, we didn't know which this. Mysore is called Mahishapuri. Like that, there are so many Purams we have got. Fine. Which is this new place? We have to probably, some of you might try, if any youngsters is there. Okay, Google, where is Brahmapuram? Please tell the directions. Where is Brahmapuram? This is a new word I'm hearing. Where is this Brahmapuram? So the Brahmapuram, the Rishi is addressing our body, the physical body or gross body. Of course, it includes subtle body and gross, causal bodies also. The body is what considered or addressed as Brahmapuram. What a beautiful name, you see. This body is considered as Brahmapuram itself. So, Divya Brahmapure. Divya Brahmapure. So, the Lord resides in this Brahmapura. Now, Shiva, where Shiva resides, if you ask, the Purana say, oh, he resides in Kailasa. Where does Vishnu resides? Oh, he resides in Vaikunta. Where does this creator God called Brahma resides? He resides in Brahmaloka. Okay, where is the Lord resides, if you ask? The Upanishads are telling that it resides. We cannot use he also, he or she. It only actually right word from the Vedanta point of view, from the Upanishad point of view. It resides in Brahmapuram. Okay. Where is this Brahmapuram? The Brahmapuram is nothing but our body. Again, what a beautiful name. When I heard this first time, I felt so joy, so nice. What a beautiful way of addressing the body from the Rishi. Thanks to the Rishi. Okay. So here, Divye Brahmapure Hesha. So the Lord is residing in Brahmapura. Okay. And still more, if you go detail in deep, the Adi Shankaracharya gives a commentary for this, and he says that the Brahmapura is our body and special reference to our heart, spiritual heart, or the lotus heart. That is what Brahmapura. Okay. Then Atma Pratishtitaha. Atman is residing. Atman is well established there. He is well established means he has got enough space there. He's got well established. For example, we are going in a general compartment in the train. We are not established. A lot of people are there with somehow with difficulty will be standing or sitting or whatever. But if you have got your own reservation in the reservation department and reserved compartments, if you go, then you are well established because you have got enough seat to enough place to sit or sleep or whatever. So, Atma Pratishtita, Atman is residing or Atman is well established in this Brahmapura in the lotus art. Then Vyomni. Vyomni means the space actually. Vyomam Bharadhara, you can say Shiva name. So Vyomni means space. The space that which is in the heart. Okay, Divya means Divya is actually the adjective for this. Vyomni, Divya Vyomni. For Brahmapura also can be taken. So the sacred space is which is in the heart. So what is the nature of the God? He is Sarvagna, he is Sarvavida, and where does he reside? One is from the cosmic level, if you see, he resides everywhere. He is everywhere, he is all pervasive, and not only that, he resides in my heart, in my spiritual heart. If you want to experience the God, experience in your own heart first, then you'll be able to experience the God everywhere. That's how I say the spiritual journey, the first and foremost is accepting the God, the God's existence, with form or without form, it is immaterial. So God exists, fine. And God exists, and generally dualistic concept is the thing which we understand and easily be perceptible. Oh, God is in the some above world, in the Brahmaloka or Swarga or Kailasa or what do you say, Ramakrishna Loka. So there is a above world where God resides. That's the primitive understanding of our things. I'm not saying it is inferior, bad, or whatever. That's how we start our spiritual journey. Then slowly, if you continue your spiritual journey, your understanding gets improved, then you will say, oh, God is all pervasive. God is in the above worlds, in the below worlds, and God is in the world, in the earth planet where we are residing. Then slowly you will understand God is residing in me also. This is the third. And the fourth, finally, the Vedanta helps us to teach that is Advaita Vedanta, is that I am that God. This is how the gradations happens in our spiritual journey. Now, the third line, Manomaya Prana Sharira Neta. Now, for Atman, they have given two titles. The Rishi has given two titles. What is that? Manomaya means consciousness is soaked in the mind, or consciousness is conditioned by the mind, which is called reflective consciousness. Today, the science is making a lot of experiments on the consciousness, isn't it? So all that experiments and all the descriptions, mostly they are telling about the reflected consciousness. That is called Manomaya. Then Prana Sharira Neta. Prana Sharira Neta means the Atman, it carries all the vital forces on the body in the matter, transferring them from gross body to the other body. So when I die, when a person is dead, what happens? Oh, where does soul travel? Where does soul go? Self goes. People ask, keep on asking. So many times I've answered for many people. That's okay. So Atman doesn't travel anywhere. Self doesn't travel anywhere. Consciousness cannot travel and will not travel. Because when it is all pervasive, where is the question of traveling there? Then what happens actually in the death? When a person is declared dead, that means what happens? The subtle body departs the physical body or gross body. The subtle body consists of what? Care of Tattvabodha lectures or Aprokshanubhuti lectures. Our pranas and mind and antakarana, indriyas, all these things are there. So prana sharira neta is referring to the subtle body. So Atman is conditioned by mind, Atman is conditioned by the prana or subtle body also. Without subtle body, one cannot experience the Atman. That is the most. Without physical body, one can experience, but without the subtle body, one cannot experience the Atman. That's why that importance is given. That's one thing. And second thing is, from one life to another life, prana doesn't. I mean, prana only travels, and Atman doesn't travel. Now, Manomaya, one important thing is, through the mind only, we can experience the self. I mean, we can experience its reflection. Without mind, we cannot experience the Atman. Why? Because it is the experiencer, it is the awareness. To experience the awareness, to experience the experiencer, we need mind. The mind is the nearest object to the self, where the immediate reflection of the self happens on the mind. That's how we will be able to understand the reflection of the consciousness. And if you remember, probably Druk 1, Druk 2, and Druk 3, Drushya 1, Drushya 2, Drushya 3, all these things we have discussed in Druk Drushya Viveka. So the sense organs also gets energy from mind. Mind gets energy from where? Consciousness. Sense organs cannot get the energy directly from the mind. All these things we have discussed. And one more example I can give you is, we do cheese balls. Fine. As a cheese ball, it is not tasty. But if the cheese ball has been put into syrup, then what happens? It becomes rasgulla. So very tasty. When we use rasgulla, many mouths can be water, isn't it? But if there is no syrup, then cheese balls will have no, taste or whatever. So similarly, the mind gets energy from where? From that consciousness. So Mano, that's the one thing. And at the same time, the consciousness is also limited by, as if the consciousness is limited, as if it is limited. That's what we understand. We think I am limited. I am limited. Why? Because I am thinking that I am body and mind. So my mind is limiting the consciousness. Limiting is not physical limitation. It is only intellectual not or cognition, wrong cognition. That is called ignorance. Prana Sharira Neta means when the subtle body departs the gross body, he or she is dead. The energy portion, the subtle portion is left. That's what we say. Then pratishtite anne rudayam sannidaye. Anne pratishtita, the fourth line, anne pratishtita means it is established or available even in the gross body. That is called Annamaya Kosha. Whoever has studied Taittiriya Upanishad will be able to understand or remember. We have got 5 koshas. One is Annamaya Kosha, then Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. Isn't it? Now here, Anne Pratishtite, Anne Pratishtite means it is nothing but Annamaya Kosha. The Atma, that is which is nothing but gross body. Now, Manomaya and Prana Sharira Neta is what the subtle body mainly, and causal body also can be included. Here, Pratishtite Anne means it is gross body. Means the soul or the self or the Atman, it resides in the gross body and also in the subtle body. So where does this Atman reside? So what is the address of the Atman, if you ask, or Brahman, if you ask? From the cosmic point of view, it is everywhere. And from the individualistic point of view, or from the microcosmic level, the care of address or the address for this Atman is what? One's own spiritual heart, one's own body in general, one's own physical body and the subtle body or gross body, causal body also can be said. Rudayam Sannidhaya. It is available in Rudaya. Sannidhaya means available. So where it is available? It is available in the Rudaya. How? As a Sakshi Chaitanya, as a witness, as the consciousness, as the witness, as a Sakshi Chaitanya. Like, I was young, I was adolescent, I was child, I was baby, I am becoming old. I am just nearing death. I don't know when death approaches me. Maybe days are numbered. So many years over, so many things has been changed in my life. Physically changed, mentally changed, with attitudes we have changed, emotions changed, so many memories we have forgotten even. Sometimes because of some problems and some accidents, even some parts of the body we have lost, we have replaced, kidney transplantation, for example, I mean to say. All these things has happened, but that I understanding, the experiencer, the cognition is constant, isn't it? That is what Sakshi Chaitanya, witness, we can say. That is in the heart, basically. Tad Vignanena Paripashyanti Dhiraha. Dhiraha is the great man of intellect, the discriminative ones. One is Dhira means, in Kannada, especially from Kannada, Dhira means one who is very brave person, they say. It is actually Veera, though we use the Dhira, but in the here Upanishad, Dhira means one who has got a right intellect, one who has got right way of understanding, one who has got the discriminative faculty well established. He is called Dhira. What is right and what is wrong? What is permanent and what is temporary? What is Satya and what is Mithya? All these things, who has well understood, he is called Dhira. So one who is capable of separating the consciousness from the body and mind. I am the consciousness, witness, Sakshi Chaitanya. I am not the body and mind. I have body and mind, but I am not the body and mind. Self has a body, body doesn't have a self. This is a great difference. It looks so simple, we have to understand. Many times we think, science also teaches, and we all think that body has a self. No, self has a body, body doesn't have a self. So one more, Shankaracharya beautifully explains this Dhira as a Sukshma Buddhaya. One who's got subtle intellect, means he is capable of understanding the subtle truths, I mean to say. Okay? Tad Vignanena Paripashyanti Dhiraha. So he realizes, Paripashyanti, Dhiraha Paripashyanti. Paripashyanti means he understands, he revisits and he analyzes, he discriminates, and he understands. He realizes what he understands, that I am that Atman. Tad is that reality of the self, Vignanena, through special knowledge. What is that special knowledge? Brahma Vidya, Para Vidya, which Mundaka Upanishad is teaching, Kata Upanishad is teaching, Kena Upanishad is teaching, Ishavasya Upanishad is teaching. That Vignan, that Vidya, through that special knowledge, he understands about it. What? About the self, about the Atman, about the Brahman. So he understands and he gets well established. Means his wrong cognition, wrong ideas, wrong notions have been removed. Ignorance is removed. Fear of death is removed. The notion of reality gets cleared, gets corrected. And also Vignanena means actually, if you go deeply, you will understand, which is emerged from the instruction of the scriptures and the teachers. I read Upanishads, I read Bhagavad Gita, I read Ramana Maharshi's teachings, I read Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, I read Vivekananda's teachings, and I know now what is truth. So Vijnanena, it is from the scriptural knowledge and from the teachings of the saints and etc. And one more also is being discussed in the commentaries, that one who controls his mind, practices detachment, practices meditation, practices renunciation to certain extent. By all these things, one is scriptural knowledge and practicing the self-control, whatever the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge has been emerged, that is called Vijnanena. Tad Vijnanena paripashyanti dhiraha. He realizes, he experiences. What he experiences? I am that self, not the body and mind. Ananda Rupam Amrutam Yad Vibhati. Now, what does he understand? Okay, Dhiraha Paripashyanti. The spiritual personality or the right person, a person of right intellect, subtle intellect, he understands, he experiences. Okay, what does he experience? Anandam Amrutam Yad Vibhati. The self or the Atman or the Brahman is of the nature of Ananda Rupa. It is in the form of the unalloyed bliss, infinite bliss. Yesterday, I purchased a vehicle, 4-wheelers. I'm so happy, as if the whole paradise is in my hands or with me. I'm happy. I took the photo and put in the status. And if you have got habit, then you went to some temple. If you are devotee, you did some puja and you went a ride. Probably you took your parents and family people and yourself. You are driving and you are enjoying. Fine. 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks over. Then slowly, the joy which was derived from the purchase of a new vehicle, maybe Tesla, maybe Benz car, that slowly gets diminished. Yeah, I've got a car. Okay. What is the necessity? I've taken it. That's fine. Okay. Or otherwise, is a social status. I've taken it. That's all. After a month or so, after 2-3 months, the joy, whatever I derived from the purchasing a car on the first day or even for a week, now I don't get. When I get a bill, I have to pay mortgage or I have to get insurance and so many things. When I say, we may feel that, oh, it is like a white elephant. Some problem comes, still it can be a bit bad. Otherwise, now the same vehicle is not giving anymore the same joy now. So whatever we get, the joy from the world and its objects are limited in nature, limited in time, limited in nature. But whereas the joy which has been derived, emerged from the experience of the self, it is infinite bliss. So Ananda Rupam and Amrutam. Mruta means mortal, Amrutam means immortal. Immortal means what? It can never be destroyed. It can never be diminished. It can never be nullified. I had a joy of getting a vehicle, but vehicle got into problem. All my joy got diminished, nullified, cancelled. Problems started, worries started. But once this Brahmanubhava happens, when you experience the self, then you will not get any of this problem at all. That is why it's called Amrutam, immortal. So by experiencing I am that Brahman, you will attain that immortality. Means you will never die. You will never die means what? As the Brahman, not the body and mind again, of course. And you will enjoy that. You will be free from this cycle of birth and death. You will be free from all evils. You will be free from all troubles and miseries and whatnot. Okay? And Vibhati shines surpassingly forever in one's own self. Because that is the real illuminator. I have got a beautiful tube light or a CFL lamp in my house, CFL bulb, which is so beautiful. The whole hall has been illuminated by that. Fine. If you go to stadium, floodlights are there, which is quite powerful. The whole stadium is getting illuminated by the floodlights. But again, they're all limited. Without electricity, nothing will be working. They're all, again, they have got their own limitations. But whereas the Vibhati, the shining, which has been emerged from the self knowledge, that is ever shining, that is no limit, that is no end at all. Shining means actually it is knowing actually. So we should not say that, oh, there's a continuation of electricity, there's a 10,000 watts or 20,000 watts or 30. No, it is shining means what? It is knowing. Because of the self alone, because of the presence of the self alone, one can know. Without self, we cannot know anything. So the real knower is what? The self. From that angle, he's saying Vibhati. That is being told in the next sloka, still in better way. We will try to understand. Now, in the 8th sloka, that is Vidyate Hridaya Granthi, it is often quoted sloka and it is very wonderful. It is the result of the Brahmanubhava or Brahmananda or realization of Brahman. Once you or experience of the Brahman, once it happens, what do you get? What do you attain has been told beautifully in this sloka. It is often quoted also. Now, I will not be discussing. Why? Because next 2-3 slokas still they are, after this, next 3 slokas still they discuss about the nature of Brahman. So let me discuss the nature of Brahman. Then finally, I will take the end of this chapter. When after 3 slokas, this chapter is going to end. There I will be discussing that sloka. What we get by knowing the Brahman. Hiranmaye pare koshe virajam brahma nishkalam tat shubram jyotisham jyotihi tadyatma vidho viduhu. In the supreme bright sheath is Brahman, free from taints and without parts. It is pure and it is the light of the lights. It is that which the knowers of the self realize. Now here, 4th stage of our spiritual realization or the advancement in the Vedantic way is being explained. What is that? God is in me, and not only that, and whatever exists, everything is only God. I am that God. God means here Chaitanya, not Vishnu or Shiva or like that. God means here Brahman. Okay. So we are asking, actually the Vedanta is asking us to shift the eye from the body-mind complex to the Chaitanya, that is consciousness. The locus of eye is in body and mind. By this time, by hearing Mundaka Upanishad teachings, the locus of I should shift from your body and mind to the Sakshi or Chaitanya or consciousness or God or Brahman. Okay. So I am not the body with the consciousness. I am the consciousness with the body. Yes, I've got a body. I've got a mind. I've got intellect. All of them are instruments for my day-to-day transactions. Because for transactions, all of them are required, no doubt. But I am that Brahman. I am Brahman, I am Atman, having body and mind. So this has to be clearly understood and it has to be put clearly in our mind. Okay. Now, Hiranmaye pare koshe, the nature and glory of Brahman is told beautifully. Hiranmaye. Hiranmaye means shining, shining like the gold. Any shining object you can take, shining like, but because it is called Hiranmaye, that's why I'm using shining like a gold. Pare koshe. Pare koshe means actually sacred intellect. So the self is beautifully illumined in the intellect, it seems. What does mean actually? Because when we have to understand something, when we have to experience something, when we should know something, we need a mind or we need intellect, isn't it? So from that angle, we are saying that. Okay. Hiranmaye pare koshe. Due to the God's presence or due to the self or to the consciousness, we are able to know everything in the world. If the Brahman is not there, if this consciousness is not there, then we cannot know anything at all. So that's why he's saying he's like a shining, is ever shining, is much more shining than gold, much more shining than any bulbs, much more shining than platinum even. What does it mean? Shining is a figurative usage. Shining means or glowing means it is knowing. Without the self, we cannot know anything. So the self is the knower and everything is known. For the knower is using the instrument, mind or intellect and the sense organs. The mind and sense organs are used as an instrument to know things. That's what you have to understand. Okay. And simple example I can give you, probably you'll be able to understand things better. Now you see a wall. It's a huge wall, big wall. Oh, there's a beautiful big wall, you see, such a huge wall. For example, Great Wall of China. We all wonder, oh, beautiful Great Wall of China. And we have got Great Wall of India also. I don't know how many of you know. Kumbhalgarh it is called. In Rajasthan it is there. It is a quite spectacular view if you go to Kumbhalgarh, where Maharana Pratap predecessors and forefathers, they lived there. Anyhow. But we feel spectacular, we feel enjoy and all fine. It is a wall, that's all we enjoy. And if it is something related to history, we may remember them, we may name them, we take a photo of it, or we take the photo with that. But if the same wall, or is a wall which is connected to a temple, if then more or less, at least for devotees, it becomes very holy. Now, the wall which was somewhere we saw, and the wall we see, it is more or less built with the same material. Now, this wall became holy. Why? Because this wall is connected with the God or with the temple, isn't it? It is our day-to-day life, all our transactions, it happens. Because of the God's presence, the wall and the brick and everything becomes holy. Every part of the temple becomes holy. So similarly, because of the Chaitanya, everything becomes sacred and everything we are able to know. That's why Divya Kosha, Hiranmaye Pare, Divya, we have no Pare Koshe means it is a sacred space where the Lord is residing. That Pare Kosha is referring to actually Vijnanamaya Kosha. Okay, then what is the nature of this Brahman? We all know that Satchitananda, some other attributes are given by the Rishi. Virajam, Nishkalam. That Brahman has the nature of Virajam and Nishkalam. Virajam means it is ever pure. Morning I got up and I had a fresh water. I had a bathing and I was fresh. I was pure. But slowly by the evening, I was working here and there. I traveled, etc. I don't feel that same freshness because dirt and sweating and all these things, isn't it? So whereas this Brahman is Virajam means it is Shuddha, always it is ever pure. It is never contaminated. The self in the Buddha and the self in the Angulimala, both are one and the same? Yes. Angulimala did so much sin, so much evil actions. How can he be pure? Yes, as a self is a pure, as body and mind, individual soul, he may not be pure. All these things has been explained by Swamiji, that Swami Vivekananda in Karma Yoga. Anyhow, so every one of us, we are all really intrinsically our real nature, from the real nature point of view, we are all pure, that is Shuddha, and Nishkalam, and it is partless, it is divisionless. Our body has got parts, 2 hands, 2 legs, trunk, head, etc., isn't it? So what about the Brahman? Does it got any parts? 1 part, 2 part, 3 part? No, it is a partless. But it is complete. It is whole. Means it is a subject. It is never the object. So consciousness is untainted by any impurities. It is devoid of impurities. We have got physical impurities. We have got mental impurities. We have got emotional impurities. We have got intellectual impurities. So many types of impurities are there. But Brahman is untainted. The consciousness is untainted by any of these impurities. Now there is, for example, bad smell is there. Because of that, the space gets bad, affected. No. So similarly, the Brahman is untainted because it is ever pure and it is whole and it is not, and it is partless. Okay. Tat Shubram. Shubram and Virjam, more or less same thing. Here, Shubram means Atman is eternally pure. And Jyotisham, Tad Jyotisham Jyoti. It is also a very important point, actually, an important concept and wonderful concept. Tad Jyotisham Jyoti. It is the light of all lights. What does it mean? Even if you have, whoever has know this Kandanava Vandana song, which has been composed by Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna, in the last para you see, Namo Namo Prabhu Vakyamanatita Manu Vachanaikadar Jyotira Jyoti Ujala Rudi Kanda. Jyotira Jyoti. The God is, or Sri Ramakrishna is considered as Jyotira Jyoti, is light of all lights. It is taken by the Upanishads. By Swami Vivekananda has taken this idea from Upanishad. Light of all lights. The consciousness or the Brahman is the light of all lights. How to understand this? We have got lights, we understand. The different lights, we understand. How he can be, or the Atman can be the light of all lights. What does it mean actually? By light, what do we understand? What should we understand? Now in a house, there are so many things. For example, you are in the study room or in the living room, say for example. In the living room, you have got sofa, you have got some table and some books and so many materials. All of them are there, fine. So if you do a memory test, what all things you see in this room, I will give 10 minutes, you see everything, and afterwards you have to answer me. Okay, if I give the exam, most of you will see, observe, and try to remember. If not all, many of you may be able to remember and reproduce from your memory what all things you saw. But hardly anyone will say, I saw the light. I mean, I'm not saying tube light or a CFL bulb or whatever, just a light. It is so evident, without light we cannot see any of these things, but we forget about it. Because of the presence of the sunlight or the tube light or the CFL bulbs light, we are able to see so many things in the room, but we forget. We are obsessed with the things and we forget about the light itself. Because of the light, we are able to see everything. So now here, Jyoti, the shining means what? The light is shining all of them means what? With the help of the light, I am able to see everything. Okay. Now, for example, there is no light. It is a dark. Then I have not put on the light. There are so many things, but still I can touch. And by touching, I can know this is a sofa, this is a table, and so many things I can know. If not completely, so many things I can know. Then, but still, then there is no light. Then what about you say? So Vedanta says the five sense organs of knowledge, Pancha Jnanendriyas, are also considered as light. Our manas is also considered as light, brought under light. So through which you know things, that is what called light actually. Through which you will know things, that is called light. Okay. No, light of all lights. The Brahman is light of all lights means what? He is the real knower. It is the real knower. Without Brahman, you can't know anything. We need mind, we need sense organs, no doubt. But the real knower, the real experiencer is what? The Brahman or the Atman or the consciousness. That's why it is called Jyoti. What do you say? Jyotisham Jyotihi is the light. It is the light of all lights. Means what? It is the real experiencer. Without the self, you can't know anything. You can't be aware of anything. You can't understand anything. You can't experience anything. From that angle, it is true. So in any even mantras, if God is explained, is the light of all lights, means you have to understand that he is the real knower. Okay. Jyotisham Jyotihi. Then Tadatma Viduhu. What do you say? Tadatma Viduhu. Viduhu means it is that which the knowers of the self realize. So the realized person, what does he know? He knows that the self is everything, is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and is inside my heart, from which I am able to understand, from which my life is there, from which everything is happening. So basically, the self and self alone exist. Atman or consciousness alone exists. All others are just the manifestations or appearances. So the self and self alone, consciousness alone exists. That is what the actual meaning from this. So Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. There's no essential difference between individual self and the cosmic self or the supreme self. And my real nature is what? Ahamasmi Brahma. I am that Brahman. And that Brahman is what? It is Shubhra. It is Jyotira Jyoti. It is Viraja. It is Virajam. It is Nishkalam. That's what Viduhu, the Brahma Viduhu. The knowers of the Brahman have experienced it. They have known it, they say. They have known it means what here? They have experienced it. By studying Mundaka Upanishad, by studying Chandogya Upanishad, by studying Kata Upanishad, we may know, but we have not experienced. It has not become the fact for us. It has not become completely truth for us. But here Viduhu means, the knower means what? One who has experienced, one whose intellect or understanding is firmly established in that. Means one who has understand. It is that which the knowers of the self realize. What do they realize? It is Shubhra, it is Jyotisham Jyotihu, it is Virajam, it is Nishkalam. Which is that? It is Brahman, or Atman, or consciousness, or Sakshi Chaitanya, or witness. You can call any other names. So what is the nature and where does it reside? Everything has been beautifully told in this slokas. So I think one more sloka is there, two more slokas, and the Vidyate Hridaya Granthi, that three slokas we will try to discuss in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Yeah. Any questions from anyone? Yes, Amit, you are on mute.
No, Swamiji, no questions.
Okay.
It's largely descriptive, so
Sorry?
it's largely a